Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling presents A Shot of BCW. And away we go.
Wait, you get a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, yeah. So take a step up to the break. We got MJP and BC Dog. That's the reigning championship team. From Milan to Japan and everywhere in between. Get the up-to-date news on the wrestling scene. So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
And here's your host, Michael J. Putty.
Thank you to the one and only Shane Fair. Always a pleasure and honor to have him introduce you to A Shot of BCW. I'm your host at Michael J. Putty, joined once again, as always, America's favorite agent, your guiding light and mind, the esteemed governor of Bree Combination Wrestling, the one, the only, Mr. AJ Pan. Mr. Pan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Good to be back. We have a lot to discuss. A bit to discuss. Our last event was quite the exciting one, but I'm happy to be back with you. Always love doing these. Going to be a fun episode.
Yes, we are weeks away from, if not days by the time this posts, the Grand Rumble, a tribute to Mama Pan, Sunday, September 21st, Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. Get your tickets now while you can. The Grand Rumble is always a fun event, a must-see event, so you definitely want to get tickets now. Governor, the third one, right?
This is the third tribute to Mama Pan, the second Grand Rumble. The first tribute to Mama Pan was that Summer on Smash.
That's true, okay. Thank you.
Yes.
But before we get there, we have to go over one of our biggest events. Queen of the North 6 happened on Thursday, July 31st, during that major, hurricane or whatever it was that impacted travel. Yeah, all y'all showed up. The BCW faithful packed that house. I was surprised. It was a Thursday. It took me forever to get there. Flash floods, roads were closed. But no, that place was packed out. I'm sure you had to be surprised. Were you? I shouldn't say that. Were you surprised at the turnout?
Oh, 100%. I mean, first of all, it was a Thursday. So even though it was SummerSlam weekend, I knew we were taking a shot doing an event that day. But sometimes you had to roll the dice, and it paid off. We had a great crowd. I think one of our biggest in a while.
Yeah.
And as you said, I couldn't. I forget who I was talking to. I think our good friend Jimmy J. I think in the last 2 years, there's been only one event that has gone completely smooth. That I was walking around the locker room and I'm like, I feel weird because I have nothing to take care of. That day was not one of them. I got lucky enough. I made it into Jersey at around a little before 2.
Before everything happened, right? The storm?
It was like just starting. Like I said, I was waiting for a cab to go to the venue and immediately getting calls from Anthony Cole, from Titan Rentals, who brings the truck, some of the workers. Ivy Malibu, one of them, took her 7 hours to get to the venue.
Jesus.
It took the poor girl 7 hours. But, yeah, and we can say it now. So, yeah, we were Cole, myself, and, our other members of the staff, and questioning if we should cancel the show because of the weather. We had people down in South Jersey sending us screenshots. There's hurricane warnings. The governor of New Jersey, not the governor of BCW, the governor of New Jersey, state of emergency, sort of closed, like, come on.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's why I'm a better governor than he is.
Yes.
Yes, because it was up to him, there would have been no show. In Ridgefield Park, thank God, it was barely rain. There was about a bit of drizzle. No, nothing I've never seen before in New York. That's like, to us, that was like a midsummer storm. That was not anything to cry about. But everybody else got hit with harder weather.
Yeah, big time.
So like just getting those calls coming in, and everybody's getting, I should be there at 3. Oh no, now it's 4. Oh, now it's 5. But again, they said the people are showing up, and we had to start the show about almost like an hour later, and they were into thank you. This is why you're the faithful. Thank you all for sticking with us, being into pretty much every part of the show. This is why we do it for you. You're the faithful, and we're going to continue to put on events like this because you're there for us. You come, you spend your hard-earned money, spend your time with us. It was a Thursday, horrible weather, yet you came and you spent your time with us. So can't thank you enough for that surprise.
Yeah, 100%. That's my next comment. Not only did they show up, but they were electric. They were on fire from start to the end. It was I was pleasantly surprised.
100%. Yeah, it was great to see. Great to feel the energy of those people, especially after a day that we had. And again, people don't understand. Like people ask, like, when you perform, you're in the moment. Like, you're thinking about everything. Like, right there, like when that's happening, you hear the crowd chanting, and they're all involved. The worries of the past couple of hours go away, and then afterwards, once the final bell rings, you can finally take a breath and be like, "Oh, okay, we made through it. We made it through another what could have been a catastrophe. Came out, nobody none any the wiser, and everybody had a great time. And fans are coming up to us after the show saying how much they loved it." Seeing the comments later on X and Instagram and all that, just saying, what a great show they put on. I can't wait for the next one. So that makes it all worthwhile at the end of the day.
100%. And they were treated to a great show.
Yes.
Stunning Law defended their championships against Major League Blondes, JC Storm and Nair Robles. What a match that was. A fun match to watch.
That was a lot of fun. Nobody got the memo. I mean, we were all wearing purple. That was not a coordinated choice. Me and Stunning Law, we coordinated, even though, I don't know, different colors. It was like the debate of that dress years ago. Journey was saying it wasn't purple. Certain lights, I guess it looks a little more like dark navy blue, violet. But when I see certain pictures of it looked me and Emily matched more than me and Journey. But I think it was still a variation of purple. But it was a lot of fun. Major League Blonde. I've known JC Storm since almost the beginning of her career. She's a fantastic athlete. Nair has been, a part of BCW in the past. She lost in a three-way earlier this year. That Sammy Chaos came out the victor. So, but as a team, I've seen that they've really stepped it up. They showed up in that match. But at the end of the day, hashtag and still, you're reigning defending BCW Tag Team Champions. Stunning Law.
They say card subject to change. Jay Bougie defended the Grand Dragon Championship against Dustin Flash Waller. What a match that was. What a fun match.
And that was, we had an hour's notice about that change. That was a really fantastic match. Bougie is competing with Anthony Gangone, I believe, because he wants to put his stamp on this reign as Grand Dragon champion. Gangone had a hell of a run, longest reign, the first ever, the inaugural Grand Dragon champion, but Bougie wants to up the ante there. And Dustin Waller provided a hell of a performance, hell of a challenge for Bougie. In the end, though, Bougie came out your victor.
I'm walking backstage, and I see this guy dressed as the Green Power Ranger. I'm like, oh, that's a cool outfit. Next thing I know, he's fucking bursting through the curtain. I'm like, oh, wow, that's the guy.
The gear was on point. Yeah. I definitely will say that as well. The gear was on point.
And he lived up to it. He fought like a Power Ranger. Those flips and dives and speed.
I would hope so. If you dress like that, you better not be underwhelming.
hope to have him back.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to be talking about that as we get into after the Grand Rumble because, as we've spoken about in the past, this year got thrown into disarray with, unfortunately the passing of Vince Steele and some other factors. So we had to rearrange some of the events the way they were supposed to happen. And I think after this event, we'll be able to get back on track now and focus on storylines that either were supposed to happen, that were in motion, and concentrate more on solidifying. Kind of feels like seasons. So like this season's roster until we get to next year's next year's Queen of the North / Grand Rumble. It seems like those are the two events that kind of throw everything up in the air because a lot of people can prove themselves at those two events specifically.
True, yeah. The road to anniversary, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're on there already. Yeah, we're getting there.
Notorious Mimi successfully defended against Brittany Blake. That was a fun match as well. Pretty sure. She's from Jersey. I think she's 7'3" to me. Is that, I don't know, what's one of their, originally from Jersey. I forget where she lives now, but yeah, she kicked me during the match, but fantastic match. Brittany Blake, another one. I've known her even before she started. She was I met her when she was, early 20s, running around, helping out with the ring jackets and going backstage and, trying to get a spot wherever she could. And she's been a fantastic athlete. She's grown into one hell of a talent. Definitely deserved the opportunity to face Mimi, but in the end, Mimi proved why this is going to be the most dominating and most memorable reign of the BCW Women's Championship. The second longest championship in the company's history. Do you want to go into what happened after the match? Some people calling it a power trip. Some people calling it a meltdown. Your little spat with Cheyenne Ortiz.
That was after the tag team match, but we can get into that. That was okay. Yeah, that was after the tag team championship match, and I couldn't even enjoy the celebration. I turn around, and I see Samira sitting in your seat doing commentary.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, yes.
Yeah, and I didn't approve that. I don't know where she got the approval from. Maybe Cheyenne, being Google-wise, and said, "Oh, well, yeah, why don't you come and do a match? This is Queen of the North, and you're a queen, you're a princess." And
maybe
that was the boiling point, that I had to finally put an end to these and let them know that they don't run the show. I'm the governor. Everything has to go through me. And Samira, she's another one. She hasn't been around in a couple of months. We've had to have poor Alyssa Marino do double duty. Cheyenne's attempted to do interviews, but he should stick to just doing commentary. He hasn't done well either. His performance has not been good. So, yeah, I had to put her on notice. But listen, you walk back in here after a couple of months and you go and sit in commentary. Again, do you think you have, you didn't think to come to me and say, "Oh, is it okay if I do commentary? I just want to run it by you." No, you just make yourself comfortable. And they kick you off.
Yeah, they told me you approved it. That's like, oh, okay.
It was not approved.
That's why I didn't say anything.
No, it was not approved whatsoever. So, yeah, had to call her out. And then, of course, this horrible woman tried to slap me. Thank God Emily was there to block it. And then Cheyenne wants to come in and white knight this whole situation. And that's, I couldn't stand it anymore. That's, I lost my temper, but I think it's time we need to get this out of our systems. And that's why I announced that myself and Cheyenne Ortiz will be facing each other one-on-one at the Grand Rumble.
Yeah, it was
Well!
That was my next comment. Yeah, that was you called me over. I'm like, oh, okay. You mentioned it, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I think last time we did this show.
Yeah.
You mentioned about something. I didn't know what the full details were. I'm like, oh, okay, this guy says, "This is it." Okay.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for including me. I just sit there in a chair all show, but thank you for making me part of the action. It was fun.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. When I saw the moment, I'm like, oh, this will be perfect. Break out a little Impractical Jokers moment. And, it was one-on-one. Well, it's not going to be just a one-on-one match. It's going to be a street fight.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, we're also going to add Samira as a referee. And throwing a couple of swerves there. So, yeah, that's one of the matches we'll talk about at the next episode. But, yeah, myself and Cheyenne Ortiz, Lower East Side street fight, Grand Rumble, tribute to Mama Fan. We got to settle once and for all. I think, we have to get everything out of our systems here because we can't go on like this forever.
Can't wait to talk about it in the next show as we preview the Grand Rumble.
Yes.
Queen of the North, you had Darius Carter retain against Kate Thorne. What an impressive showing for Kate Thorne as well.
That was indeed. Yeah, Kate, and another person. She came out literally about, I think we finalized that match 2 to 3 hours before, not before the show, but I think I got a text from Mr. Cole about 1 o'clock, and he's asked me a couple of people, and we solidified her. She approved, letting us know she was around, and surprising. Anyone who can hold themselves against Darius, especially last minute, definitely earned a lot of my respect, and hopefully we get Kate Thorne to come back, and I think she definitely has a future here in BCW. It's very surprising.
That was also a surprisingly triple threat match. And this is the first time Darius is put in a position where he didn't have to lose to lose. And I don't never saw him in that position, and he just showed up anyway, and he still showed why he's a dominant champion of BCW.
That's how great Darius Carter is. You throw any obstacle in his way, and I didn't know that was happening. I don't even think Mr. Cole knew that was happening. Again, that's correct, something to change. You roll with the punches, and Darius showed out as well. But again, in that situation, I was impressed so much by Kate Thorne and being able to adapt to that situation. I don't think she's been around the business that long, maybe 2 to 3 years, if that. And, to be thrown into what she thought was a one-on-one match, got turned a triple threat match, and Darius Carter being in that match, a lot of obstacles for her to overcome. Nothing for her to be ashamed of. Great match. But Darius, again, he proves why he is the standard of BCW.
And why we were all there. First round, Sammy Chaos defeated Ivy Malibu. Harleen Lopez defeated Jackie Go. And Hannah Taylor defeated Orsi, setting up your main event for Queen of the North. All impressive showing, but again, everybody, this whole card was just nonstop. It was a great match. There's no lull in this card at all. Everybody showed up. And
all 6 competitors were very impressive, even the ones, who didn't end up advancing, sadly. They all had impressive performances. We're going to see some of them coming back. We have a big international flavor. That really wasn't planned. It just happened to come about, and a lot of, again, it's, people don't want to give us our flowers, but BCW is the place people want to come. Mm-hmm. And also we had representation from England with Hannah Taylor. We had, I remember the other day, forgive me, either Germany or Hungary for Orsi. I forget offhand, I'm so sorry. Yeah, and Germany, I think, was Jackie Go, yes. And then, of course, we had Harleen Lopez, who has been a BCW standout for about maybe 2-3 years now, and she's been making her way against men and women. She's been killing it. She says she got screwed last year. I don't believe that. We have differences of opinion on that, but either way, I respect her as an athlete. Sammy Chaos, she's made quite the name for herself in a short time here. She's supposed to be part of our March show. That didn't get to happen. She came back in the surprising triple threat match. She won that one, and she had a hell of a showing here. And then we have, why am I blanking?
Ivy Malibu,
yes. Thank you. And that poor, drove 7 hours. She's talking about later. The reason she showed up to the Governor's Ball barefoot was because she literally got to the building maybe 30 minutes before that happened.
Yeah.
So she got that all year sprung upon her. And even, the Governor's Ball was a lot of fun. Everybody showed their personalities, got to show their presence, got a feel for them before the card. Because, too, like something, you never know if our fans were familiar with some of the international stars, even though we want you to know them. But I think it's, as I said before, it's not, to me, it's not just about the wrestling. It's also about the personalities, the characters. You need that connection. So I wanted, before the tournament, the crowd to try to get some kind of connection with all 6 competitors. And thankfully that they did, being in the ring and seeing that and, getting to watch everybody take their turn with the mic, get their characters over, and then hear the crowd react in a certain way. Like, okay, this is good for what we want. Because you don't want silence to happen when newer people are coming out and, it doesn't ruin it. I think it just might throw off a talent. Like either they might get in their heads too much, or they'll try harder. They'll go either way. But thankfully, again, the faithful showed up. They showed out. They got into, from that segment, they immediately were into everything that happened. And every match told a different story, but it was very, very entertaining, very exciting. And we had a great final.
And who won?
Your 6th Queen of the North is Harleen Lopez.
Also, the person I picked.
Yeah.
I came out on top of that one. Should have put a bet on DraftKings.
You did. My girl made it to the finals. Hannah made it to the finals. Yep. But Hannah Taylor, Sammy Chaos, and Harleen Lopez, hard hitting final. That's one of our biggest, I think one of the toughest finals we've had since Christina Marie won a couple of years ago. That was a really fun final with Christina Marie, Brittany Jade, and Mimi. That was my second favorite final. But it was a hell of and well deserved to Harleen. I'm not gonna take anything away from her. She still thinks I'm trying to screw with her, but you know what? As long as she stays it well, now she has a chance to cash in on the women's championship. So good luck with that. We'll see when that happens. But hey, we haven't had a one-on-one match between Mimi and Harleen yet, so let's see what happens. But you'll learn a lesson again from the best in Mimi. Yeah,
can't wait. We'll find out next Sunday, September 21st, Grand Rumble tribute to Mama Pan. Feel out the fallout of Queen of the North. Already announced Ivy Malibu will be a competitor in the Grand Rumble. Darius Carter, we just talked about him, had a very impressive match against Kate Thorne in that triple threat match. Our colleague, our best buddy, Cheyenne Ortiz, sat down with the champion to get his thoughts on Queen of the North and him looking forward to the Grand Rumble. Cheyenne, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of BCW, a shot of BCW, if you will, this is the voice Cheyenne Ortiz. And joining me right now is your lead commentator at Bree Combination Wrestling, the Mask of the Vessel. Ladies and gentlemen, easily one of the most decorated independent wrestling stars in the United States of America today. He is, in fact, your Bree Combination Wrestling history-making reign world heavyweight champion. Please welcome the All-Father, Darius Carter. Darius, thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure, never a chore. Making another stop on the promotional tour for BCW Grand Rumble. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Cheyenne.
Absolutely. Of course, this is on behalf of a shot of BCW, the BCW Auxiliary Podcast. Now, I want to get right to it. You are legitimately riding the crest of a wave of history. 2 reigns into BCW, incredible numbers and statistics involved. You are, in fact, for Bree Combination Wrestling, the measuring stick. Are you at all tired of that position?
Yeah, That's a great question. It's because let's be honest. When people think of BCW, when people think of recombination wrestling, the very first person they think of is Darius Carter. Okay? Whether they like me, whether they hate me, whether they support me, whether they refute me, I am the very person that they associate with this brand more than Anthony Cole, more than AJ Pan, more than anybody associated. And that's with due respect to their names and to what they've contributed. But people know me as the BCW World Heavyweight Champion. I'm almost identified as the champion with or without the title. Okay, when Marina had abducted this championship from me and brought it to that home of hers before she mailed it back, right? People still believed that I was the champion. People couldn't believe that I wasn't the champion. When I told them I wasn't the champion, when they asked me if I was champion and I told them I was not, they were surprised, okay? Because they associate me, they connect me with the BCW World Heavyweight Championship. Why is that? That's because of the work that I've done inside and outside of the ring over the past several years. That's because of the resume that I've accrued. That's because of the magazine coverage that I've managed to earn. That's because of the name value that I've boosted upon myself to then bring it back to the promotion and to amplify it in that fact. Every victory that Darius Carter has, I bring it back to BCW to make it their victory. That's the type of man that I am. That's the type of champion that I am. So when you ask if somebody gets tired of being at the top, and I know people get tired of being at the top, people start getting weary, people start getting sloppy, they make mistakes. Someone like me, it's my home position to be at the top. Because when you're at the top, that's when you can truly innovate, and that's when you can stack and stack and stack and stack. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they become a champion and then they become complacent. All right? They flatline. Expected dates, expected opponents, and they relax as everything passes them by, and they're still champion. That's not me. That's not how I've ever been. And if you look at BCW's contendership for this championship, there's hardly anyone that even comes close to Darius Carter. Why is that? It's not just in-ring performances. It's not just promos. It's not just online social media discussions and promotional material. It's not just podcast appearances. It's not just how many followers you have and how many times you can trend in time for the next show. It's about who shows up night in, night out, who does everything that he needs to do, who goes above and beyond, who shows up before the lights are even on, and leaves before the lights go out. That's the type of man that I am, and that's how I've carried this brand. And I look at myself as my own competition. I say, how do I get better? How do I make this better? How do I make BCW better? How do I improve upon my station? I am my greatest competition. So no, I'm not tired of it. In fact, I relish it. I welcome it. I welcome being at the top. I welcome the challenges of being at the top. Because when you're the champion, you have to face challenges. And they are not all inside of the ring. Cheyenne, you know what I'm talking about. There are challenges up and down, behind and before the curtain as the champion that you must handle, and you must take it with a smile. You must continue on to your date. You wrestle your match, you make your money, and you continue to promote that brand and elevate it. That's the difference between me and other people who will complain, who will nag, who will DM instead of showing up, putting their boots on, and making sure that their match is the one that gets posted the most. Their match is the one that everybody's talking about. I have to come to BCW to see that man wrestle. That's the difference between me and everyone on that roster, man or woman.
Now, to paraphrase the subtext that you just mentioned, you mentioned that, and let's point out the obvious here. Yes, there has been a lack of valid competition as of late in some of your challenges. Impressive attacks, impressive defenses. Prince Ahmed, incredible defense. You guys literally had a match of the year candidate. Having said that, at the Grand Rumble, a tribute to Mama Pan, you will be taking on Kelsey Reagan. This to me is an interesting narrative because Kelsey is a belt collector. similar to you. In Florida, extremely well known, holds a mantle for the women's division down in Florida. This is somebody that in another timeline, to a degree, is your equal, and I feel since Prince Ahmed, and certainly before that, your greatest threat in some time. Are you at all worried about Kelsey Reagan? Because also, to boot, in the ring, she gets it done.
Kelsey's a dangerous woman. And I poke at her, I prod at her because I can. What's she going to do about it? When I say that she's Miss Doom and Gloom and she knows nothing of true doom and gloom, I'm going to introduce her to doom and gloom. And I mean that. Okay, now let's be real. I'm not going to take away from her talent because she is a championship collector. She is someone with a very impressive resume. Okay, she's the Cheyenne champion right now, the sister promotion of Shimmer. And if you don't know what Shimmer is, then you don't know professional wrestling. So we're not going to discredit Kelsey Reagan's in-ring talent. We're not going to discredit her capabilities. We're not going to discredit her accolades. That's not the type of man that I am. I've never been that person. Being a man of accolades myself, it'd be hypocritical. But the thing about Chelsea is she's walking into an environment that she is not entirely familiar with. She's been in BCW before, and she's challenged for the Grand Dragon Championship, but she has not competed for the very top prize. She has not come into a BCW ring needing to be her best. She's been invited to a BCW ring and requested to bring her best. But if she shows up with anything less than 100%, anything less than 110%, if we're being honest, she needs to be over the gauge. Because if she comes in with anything less, she is leaving empty-handed. She'll leave too weak to carry the other championships that she has. She'll leave them at the venue. She'll Uber home, and she'll get the belts delivered to her the next day. You have to understand something. The difference? No, let's talk about it.
I have to interject a little bit. I definitely am impressed with the fact that you are accrediting Kelsey Reagan, which she is as a competitor, but let's get right to it. Do you think she could take you down? Do you think she's the one to vanquish your history-making reign? Because you are saying that she can kick it into a gear.
Yeah, she can kick it into a gear. A gear helps the machine run, right? But she can't kick it into the gear. I'm saying that right now, and I'm challenging her to kick it into that gear. I've seen her press the button. I've seen her move. I've seen her compete in that ring in a very impressive fashion, but she is going up against someone the likes of which she has not stepped in the ring with. She may think that she's faced a Darius Carter before. She may think, oh, I've wrestled a bad guy before. I've wrestled a qualified man before. I've wrestled a man heavyweight champion before. I do it all the time. If she comes in with a pedestrian mindset, like this is some place in Florida just welcoming her to come in and take their championship, if that's what she believes this is, even in the slightest iota, then she is making a mistake. And I know she's not a dumb woman. I know she knows, to a degree, the level of challenge that she's about to face, but I don't feel that she fully grasps it. How can she? Right? She's done well for herself. And in a way, maybe a little pampered.
Wow.
Maybe a little sheltered. And when I say sheltered, hey, Kelsey, here's your box. Here's your box that you can fit in, and you can be in that box, and you can be safe in that box. You don't ever have to leave that box. Someone like me, I have to push against that every single day, every single week, every single month of my life to be champion, to remain champion, to keep people coming, to keep people invested, to keep people knowing that the All-Father is truly the All-Father. It's not just something that I say. It's something that I am. It's made up in my DNA. So, no, I'm not going to discredit this woman. But she's not going to come in and take something from me. I am the greatest BCW story ever told. From 2016 to today. For her to come in and take that championship and to undo all of that, Marina tried that. She tried that. And she ended up having to mail the championship back because not even Marina could take the pressure of being BCW World Heavyweight Champion because she couldn't be there every show, because she couldn't attend to defend this championship. Kelsey can be Miss Multiple Titles. That's great. But here's the difference. Kelsey has some of those championships at women's only promotions. Some of those places, she's only facing her own gender. I am facing people from all walks of life, from every piece of this continent and beyond. So you want to tell me or you want to infer that, well, maybe you could take the foot off the gas. Maybe he's giving Kelsey a little credit. Maybe he's giving her an opening. No, I'm recognizing that my opponent is good, but I'm at a higher level. The world needs to see that, to know that, and to understand that. That's what this is about. Good isn't great, and great isn't Darius Carter. Simple as that.
You know, you bring up an excellent point. You mentioned that you are the greatest story in Recombination Wrestling's history. I do not disagree with that. But let's talk about an ongoing story, a headline at best at every single show. The cat and mouse game, the game of one-upmanship between you and the man that some believe is ready, Jay Bougie.
Jonathan.
Another thing you've brought up is, in fact, that Kelsey may not be ready, that many are not ready, that Marina Shafir tried to be ready, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people believe that despite him being the Grand Dragon champion, the rightful contender to your throne is, in fact, Jay Bougie. There are some who believe that you are aware and have acknowledged the fact that Jay Bougie is next in line, and that's part of why your marksmanship towards him has become a little bit more visceral. Let's isolate a particular incident in particular where you refused to call Jay Bougie by his name. Instead, you decided to acknowledge him by his real name. You decided to bring his son into your verbal vitriol, and you decided to cheap shot BCW officials and others during a pull apart. Let's get right to it. What is the issue from your standpoint? I know it's not fear knowing you at the level that I do, but what exactly is the issue that you have with Jay Bougie as a competitor and a potential contender?
So, okay, Diane, you're a wise man and you sit in a great seat. So I know you have to play an objective role. You have to play diplomacy, right? You have to – I get it. I get it. But let's not pretend like you don't really know what's going on, okay? Look a little closer. No. Let's talk about it. You're saying that I call him by his first name. He calls himself by John on Facebook. That's his Facebook. John Rubel. That's his.
I don't.
That's his. That's on him.
I don't think his social media or his personal Facebook page justifies.
That's where all of it is. Stop it. He knows it. I know it. Stop it. He created the access. That is why it is access. And for no other reason other than him putting on the table, therefore, I am utilizing what you disposed of. All of your posts, all of your comments are made from that account on his Facebook, okay? And when you want to talk about his child, you want to talk about that was brought to BCW before I ever brought it into the picture. Okay,
Mr. Carter, I don't recall Jay Bougie's child being fair play in Recombination Wrestling.
This is what people aren't understanding, and Kelsey too, if you're listening, right? This championship, if you want to take it from me, if you want to take this possession from me, that means more to me than you could ever possibly know. You have to understand that you are putting everything at risk. Your name, possibly your career, your family, anyone is fair game when it comes to me and the BCW Heavyweight Championship. I had to fight for 2 years to get one championship opportunity in BCW. And when I got that opportunity, I did it. I won. I beat Azriel, though he was at the time the longest reigning BCW World Heavyweight Champion. This was November of 2018, and I took it from him, and I went on to become the longest reigning champion. And then Marina took it from me. I won it back, and now I'm about to break my own record as the longest reigning, first ever two-time World Heavyweight Champion. Everything is on the line. That's the difference, right? For Kelsey, this just may be another championship that she may or may not win. Another booking that I'm taking. That's how she may be feeling. A great match I look forward to having. This is so much more. This is all part of a story, my great story, the greatest story BCW has ever told. She is the next step on that story, and that makes her bigger than she may realize. So she needs to step up to that position. She needs to understand what she's walking into, who she is facing, and the level of competitor that will be staring across from her eye to eye when that bell rings. And Bougie has been interrupting my matches. Bougie has been coming out after my matches. His music always plays after I've won a match. Bougie has made it a point to interrupt my station time after time again. I've warned Bougie to leave me alone and to stay focused on the Grand Dragon Championship. I gave him direction. I gave him advice. And what did he do? Turn around, do it again, interfere again, joking with me, thinking this is funny, a friendship that we had. He trampled over it to get closer to this championship. That's what people aren't seeing. We weren't enemies. We were friends. Consider Bougie at one point like family. Whenever he needed advice, whenever he needed someone to turn to, whenever he was caught in a rut, whenever he was stuck in a corner, you could call the Allfather, you could talk to Darius Carter, and I would help you. I would give you advice. See, that's the part that he's not going to talk about. I looked out for Jay Bougie, but Jay Bougie gets greedy because it's in his nature to be greedy, to take more than he's capable of taking. So he gets the Grand Dragon Championship, and instead of focusing on being the greatest Grand Dragon champion that's ever existed, because he has competition there with Anthony Gangone, let's be honest.
I don't dispute that.
He gets that championship, and then his eyes are on my championship. He has his around his shoulder, and he's looking to mine. Now, I could go and look to his and take it from him if I wanted to, but that's not what this is about. I'm looking to making BCW better. I'm looking to building upon the throne that I have set for myself, to taking us to new heights. I think Bougie has his place in doing that in the Grand Dragon division. I have my place, of course, as the one spearheading all of this.
But Mr. Carter, who are you to decide Jay Bougie's fate? You're already isolating him to strictly the Grand Dragon Championship. There's nothing wrong with being that, but just like you don't believe Jay Bougie wants or deserves or could be more?
Oh, Bougie deserves more. Bougie deserves, but what is more? What is more? And
I think more is over your shoulder, Mr. Carter.
Excuse me?
I think more is over your shoulder.
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is. But you know what? If I was him, right, let's focus on main eventing more shows. Let's focus on truly being the spotlight, because as far as I see it, every single occasion, Bougie steps up, does his thing. Okay? Quality competitor. We're never going to take that from him. Okay? But he gets in the ring, he leaves the ring. I get in the ring, I leave the ring. I still am the topic. I still am the topic of discussion. I still am the flavor at the tip of everyone's tongue. My match with Prince Ahmed. Out of nowhere, right? One of the greatest matches that BCW has ever done.
Without a doubt.
The last event, Queen of the North. I was thrown a curveball, the likes of which we've never seen.
Never.
Was never meant to be caught. That's the type of curveball that was thrown at me. There was no intention for me to catch it. I caught it with a smile, and I returned it to the person that threw it at me. And I put this championship back on my shoulder and I ventured to the next day. That is the difference between me and people in that locker room. I take it. I march forward. I don't need to shed a tear. I don't need to complain. Because at the end of the day, I control what I can control. What is mine is absolutely mine. And what is mine is the BCW World Heavyweight Championship. What is mine is the premier position in this company. What is mine is the main event spot. What is mine is that marquee slot on every BCW event. I work for it every show. It's not just given to me. I earn it night in and night out, and that's what people forget. Yes, I've been champion for a long time. That's because I made it that way. I made it that way. There's no one else. If there was, you would be talking to them. What I want and what I've been demanding, it's just a little respect from my peers, my friends. Bougie's supposed to be a friend. Does a friend come out after your matches and interrupt you to try and take your spotlight? Does a friend constantly step in on your time? Constantly. I raised my championship. Here's your winner. And still, Bougie's music hits. Show after show. But then, I'm the bad person for calling him by his name and for addressing the family that he made public. I didn't take it from the shadow and bring it to the light. He put it in the light. Where is my no? Where is the respect? The genuine appreciation. Bougie should be thanking me for helping to set the table. I set that table for him. I set the table so that there could be a Grand Dragon Championship, so that there could be another men's division. And what do I get for it? Throw dirt. Let's throw dirt at it. Let's see how he responds. Let me poke at him. Let me prod at Darius.
But Mr. Carter, you yourself,
he won't get mad about it. He's my friend.
You yourself are literally saying that Jay Bougie can be a contender, a friend, a peer, a great wrestler, but never your equal. You yourself are saying that because of your work, yes, there's a Grand Dragon division, and it's okay for him to stay right there. You're saying you set the table for Jay Bougie to sit at, but at an arm's length away from your seat. That is, in essence, what you're saying, Mr. Carter.
What's wrong with that? See, this is business. Everybody has their place in business. There's the CEO. There are your workers. There's the receptionist. There's the janitor. Everybody has their role, and every part of it is important. Every piece of the BCW needs direction. BCW needs a clear plan. If you have someone covering every facet, we're set, right? Darius taking on the heavy load, the pillar. We can rely on him. Don't worry about it. We can throw bags and bags of weight on him, and he's just going to carry it. We don't even have to worry about him. Now you have Jay Bougie, Grand Dragon. All right, we can play with that too. We have someone covering that angle. Now we have Mimi for the women's division. Look at that. We have a full picture. The tag team champions, Emily and Journey. That's how you set a table. Everyone has to cover their end. But if Bougie tries to overstep his lane, he can not only mess up his lane, but he can get mine dirty too. That's the problem. That's the problem here is people don't want to play their part. People don't want to contribute in their lane. They want to give how they want to give. I don't want to give to BCW that way. I want to give this way. But that's what BCW needs. We need someone to do this. Can you be that person? I could be, but I'd rather be this person. That's the problem. Egos getting in the way. That's what this is all about. I am in this position because I've earned this position. I am the only person that can say that they've earned this position. There is no one else, Cheyenne. Stop pretending. Stop it. I understand you have to be diplomatic. I understand that you have to play the center. But there is no second or third when it comes to me and BCW. Jay Bougie is working his way into genuine contendership. Mimi is trying to talk her way into contendership from the women's side. Everyone wants a slice, but not everybody has the money for the pie. I'm telling you, not everybody can pay at the counter. Not everybody has proof of purchase, and that's what's going on.
With that, to use a metaphor to what you're saying, someone can at least get a ticket to the opportunity via the Grand Rumble itself. Is there anybody in particular that's been announced for the Grand Rumble that you think has a chance or that you possibly look forward to facing no matter the outcome in the Grand Rumble main event?
I already shouted out Daniel Alexander in terms of someone I feel has potential if he chooses to realize it, because potential is a very dangerous word. It can be very fruitful, and it can also be completely empty. All right? It's about what you make out of it. Daniel was the last man in with the winner last year. Gang Going won last year. He was runner-up. Saw his promo. He's somebody that I've seen grinding, a homegrown talent. I'd like to see him step up. Will he? I don't know. I'd like to see someone step up. Because all I'm hearing is the chirping of a friend in Jonathan, Jay Bougie. My friends are coming for me. That's how established I am. That's how well I've done for myself, that I have people that are supposed to be in my corner gunning for me. That's what we need. So I want someone to step up. I'm going to watch this Rumble closer than any that has ever existed. As closely as I watched that Rumble, and I watched it pillar to post, I will be watching this one bell to bell. I want to see not just who wins. I want to see who shows up to work, who shows up to be a mainstay, who shows up to elevate themselves to main event level, to come knock on my door. I want someone fresh, something different. Jonathan, I do welcome his challenge when he earns it. He's earned being Grand Dragon Champion. That doesn't earn you a chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. When you were Intercontinental Champion, that did not mean that you were automatically number one contender to the Heavyweight Champion. He still has some lines to cross. It's a stepping stone, but he's not there yet. He wants to jump the line. He wants to skip. He has people he needs to see before he gets to me. And I have people I need to see before he gets to me. And one of those people is Kelsey Regan, Shine champion, one of the most decorated champions today. This is what Darius Carter attracts. This is what I bring to the table. When all else is on fire, you can rely on Darius Carter and what he has going on. That's the difference between me and all other things happening in BCW. Jay Bougie wants to be a constant piece of discussion. He wants to be at the topic every single occasion, so he knows to involve himself with Darius Carter. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy. So I'll play the game with him. We haven't come to blows yet. We haven't punched, kicked, done any of that. Playing a game. And it's up to him if and when he crosses that line. If he does, he's going to have the biggest problem of his career. Anywhere, not just BCW, anywhere.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on BCW Shot of Wrestling. When it comes to this game, when it comes to being the dealer, that is the man with the high score. That is the line. We're all waiting. whether it be Kelsey Reagan, Jay Bougie, the Grand Rumble winner, or anybody else. That is the line. Who's going to cross it? Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Shot of BCW, on behalf of our world heavyweight champion, the All-Father himself, Darius Carter, this is the voice, Cheyenne Ortiz, and we will see you at the Mecca in Ridgefield Park for the Grand Rumble.
I can listen to that man talk. This guy's such. I can listen to this man talk.
Yeah.
All the time. Darius Carter, thank you for your time. Sorry I had to be with Cheyenne, but I guess Mark was busy.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Who?
Darius Carter, man. He knows what this game is about. He knows what it goes into it, and like I said, he's the second longest reigning BCW champion of all time, out second only to himself.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
It is, but it isn't, because it's Darius Carter, and he's always gonna. Yeah, he's just, again, and people get mad at it, but he's the standard. He's that guy that he's what I like to call him backstage. He is the BCW litmus test. If you can survive against him, if you can thrive, if you can look good against him, you definitely you can make it. But if you can't, if Darius can't have a good match with you, there's something wrong with you. And it's been very rare we've seen that in BCW. There's been a small handful that haven't been able to carry themselves up to the Darius level, but he's brought the best out of them at the same time. So, but Darius is that guy.
Sunday, September 21st, Grand Rumble, a tribute to Mama Pan. Tickets are still available as of this recording. Darius Carter will defend against Kelsey Reagan, already announced on your social medias. That should be another must-see match.
Yes.
Well, that's it for the Queen of the North. Looking forward to the Grand Rumble. Looking forward to getting back together with you to go over the entire card.
Yes.
Coming up soon. Stay tuned to that. Governor, where can people find you on social medias?
Find me on X at AJPan_PCA. Find me on Instagram at AJPanPC. And follow On the Rocks with AJ Pan, my podcast with now my new co-host, Michael J. Putty. Yeah, we started doing a couple episodes of that. So
that's been fun.
Yes. It's been a lot of fun working with you on there. So go check us out on there if you can't get enough of us. I know a lot of you can't get enough of me and Putty. So
yeah, we're the best.
We are.
Governor, thank you for your time. Can't wait.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Again, stay tuned to this very feed. Just maybe next week, a couple days, we'll talk about the Grand Rumble. But until then, for the Governor, I've been your host at Meg J. Putty. Until next time, Putty out.